Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I have a new video for you guys, but before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys drop a like. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, never ever seen any of my videos before, the only thing you need to do to be a part of the community, get access to the videos, is to become a subscriber down below. So make sure before you go, you subscribe down below. Make sure you also turn on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any of my new uploads. With that being said, today is Monday. It is December the 2nd, 2019, and we have a 6-gamer in the association. And before I continue with that, first things first, weekly giveaways here on this channel. I do it every single week. I give away a player pool, and starting this week is either an option. You either could have the player pool for the entire week, one each day for any main slate, 2 games or better, or you'll have the option of utilizing and getting my quick search sheet, which is like kind of a cheat sheet. Breaks down everything from DVPs, minutes, usage, everything that I pretty much look at statistically. It's all in one sheet in a spreadsheet format, and that will be available to you guys as part of the giveaway. The only thing you have to do to be a part of that giveaway is be like the video, comment down below, and of course don't forget to be a subscriber, because I will check that, and as long as it check out all 3, you will be in the drawing for that starting next week. For this week's winner is my boy Kingman K-Mall. Give me hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram, wherever you want. My socials are in the link in the description of this video. Hit me up, man. I know you've been a subscriber and been somebody supported for a long time. Your name was the one that was drawn out yesterday by my kids here at home. So this week, you're the winner for the weekly giveaway. Also, today is Cyber Monday. I was talking to you guys. I mentioned to you guys on my Patreon page, which I started 2 weeks ago, that I will have sales going on for Cyber Monday. So for the next couple of days, I'm going to have complete access. You're going to have an opportunity to go to my Patreon page. I got a couple of tiers down there. Everything is reasonably priced. Nothing is expensive, guys. As you guys know, for those who have already been down there, player pool, I have a tier for that. You get your player pool. You have the option also to have my top 5 cash play, value plays, and GPP plays for the slate. But for those who are involved, you guys know I give you more than just 5. I usually give you 6 or 7 per tournament for GPPs, as well as player pool, as well as cash plays. And then now this week, starting today, is going to be my quick search sheet. My quick search sheet, again, is going to consume of statistics that I pretty much do a lot of research on from players. You get on that sheet, you're going to have a complete list of everything from minutes, usage, shots taken, 3-point shots taken, the opponent, the salary for Fanduel, the salary for DK, everything that you could possibly think of that you can definitely use to help you narrow down your research is all on that sheet. All right, and that's going to be available as a tier. And at the same time, I have an all access tier for $20. As of today, $20. You go in there, $20, you'll get access to to the player pool, to the GPP cash lines, the value plays, and on top of that, that quick research sheet, which will narrow down your plays, help you be able to put your lineups together in a shorter period of time without having you go into like 2 or 3 or 4 different websites like I utilize, or even pay for some websites, maybe even at a higher rate. So again, the bottom line is everything is there. Come down. The link is in the description of the video to check out my Patreon page for Cyber Monday. Okay, we get right to it. Some injuries obviously are very important today. A couple guys are more than likely out. So you're going to have some opportunity for some value today. There are some value plays that are going to be available to us today. But let's get right to that point guard. As we go along, when we get to those injuries, I'll speak about them. At the top, we got Trae Young at $10,000. He is the top price point guard here tonight. He's actually the second highest, or actually the third highest stud on the slate today. Trae Young is viable. He's in play. He's definitely someone you got to consider. And a game like this. Now, let me just speak real quickly about these games. 6-game slate today. Definitely can do 1 core line, maybe possibly 2. I see myself having 2. Definitely, if you haven't been here before, I am a tournament player. I play strictly GPPs, but today I'm targeting a couple of games. There's a lot of nice games here today that are going to be competitive games. Spreads are not too bad. The only ones that are going to be a concern R is the Indiana and the Milwaukee game. Milwaukee's favored by 16 over New York. New York is coming in on a front end of a back-to-back. They do have a few injuries. I will probably target New York just strictly on the value, like DSJ possibly starting today, as well as maybe Kevin Knox if you wanted to. But DSJ will probably be my favorite play going into that matchup there. I don't want too much exposure to Milwaukee, to be totally honest with you. But again, the games have to be played. Anything can happen. New York has had tendencies of playing well against good teams and then obviously giving it all up at the end in the fourth quarter. But it is a risky game when you have other games that you can definitely target, like the Chicago-Sacramento game, competitive game. That one is the one that I'm going to target. Is only a Sacramento favorite, pretty much by 5 at home. You got the Golden State and Atlanta game. That's going to be an intriguing game. Atlanta favorite at home by 6.5 by 2 poor teams. A lot of possible good mid-price plays there that you can definitely load up your lineups with. And then the Phoenix-Charlotte game is also intriguing to me also today with a 224 implied total, 4.5 point favorite for Phoenix coming into Charlotte. It's going to be, should be a competitive game. The Philadelphia game is going to be a competitive game. You can definitely target that game, but I think that's a game you could fade today with all the other options here, just simply because of this, that every one of these other 3 games I talked about, they're pretty much a lot of mid-tier plays, guys at $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. You can do a complete balanced lineup today and be able to put up some really good fantasy point totals out of those games. So that's the strategy I'm looking at as far as right now, early on, and then looking at the games, the implied totals, and the matchups. So I would definitely recommend you guys to target these 3 games that I talked about and try to fade away some of the games that are blowout potential, like Indianapolis, Memphis. Memphis is just like New York. It's a game that you can target for value with the injuries, with possibly Valanciunas out, as well as Clark being out for Memphis. That opens up the doors, and of course knowing that Morant is out. So there is value there with Memphis, so you can target a few players. All right, enough of that. So back to the point guards. At point guard, Trae Young definitely in play. He will be in my player pool. He's someone that I'm going to have exposure to because this is a game that he can definitely erupt for 50, 60, even 60 plus, and he has that upside. So hands down, he's definitely someone you got to consider. You only need 50 then to meet value, and going up against Golden State should be definitely an opportunity for him to be able to do that with the amount of shots, the usage, and everything else that he needs to do for this team. Trae Young, a viable play. I do like Brogdon here in this matchup against Memphis, but again, I'm looking to probably fade that game and not focus too much on a lot of those players there. But him and obviously Sabonis definitely stand out for me for Indiana. But we're going to come down right here between Rozier and Rubio. Definitely like these 2 guys. Both of them take more than enough shots. Rozier takes a lot of shots. He has pretty good usage on the Charlotte team. He is definitely someone you can consider, either one of those 2. But I'm going to come down, obviously, for value today. And there is a good chance that Frank Ntilikina is going to be out today. So you got to consider DSJ for the New York Knicks. And I passed him. Where's DSJ? Dennis Smith Jr. is got to be in play, and he's probably going to be one of the highest, other than Bruno Caboclo today, if Clark doesn't play for Memphis, that are going to be high-owned value plays. Dennis Smith Jr., again, very small sample for him. He's played quite a few games as of late, but as far as minutes, not really high. Expect him to play 25-plus minutes today. He played 38 minutes last night, a lot of minutes, but this may be an opportunity of a lifetime for Dennis Smith to get himself right on this New York team. He has a lot of potential. He's got a lot of skills. If he could come out here and play 30-plus minutes today and put up similar numbers that he did put up last night, is definitely, obviously for us at 3,600, you only need 15, 16 from him to meet value here on FanDuel. He is 3,200 on DK. So again, 15 to 16, more or less, that's pretty much what you need. And he has the potential to smash that easily. If he plays 20 minutes, he should be able to get us 15 to 20 fantasy points easily. I expect him to be in that 25 to 30 minute range, and I expect him to be, to be able to put up at least 1 point per minute or better. So strictly on value today, you got to at least have some consideration to have Dennis Smith in your lineups, and then you can pay up maybe if you wanted to for a Giannis if you wanted to take a shot, or a Joel Embiid, or even a Trae Young. But Dennis Smith in play again. 38 minutes last night, 32 fantasy points. He's playing, pretty much more or less 14, 15 minutes. But again, this is all strictly on him getting the opportunity to play today without no Ntilikina. He'll have some help because that means R.J. Barrett is going to play some point as well. So there'll be some minutes for Barrett there. It's a bump for Barrett as well with no Ntilikina that he's going to have to play the point guard position as well. So he's going up against Milwaukee. They're 24th in defending point guards, allowing 29.4 fantasy points per game. They did give up 35 recently to Rozier and 30 to Garland and 45 to Trae Young all over the last 3 games. Don't expect Dennis Smith to go out there and smash and put up 40 or 50, but again, anything is possible. Here, the bottom line is he gives us value. He gives us a player that you could get for $3,600 and $3,200 respectively in these 2 sites. And the only thing we need him to do is to put up 15 to 18 fantasy points. And I don't see no reason why he cannot do that if he's playing more than 25 minutes. So he's in play. Other than that, like I said, Trae Young is in play. No doubt about it. Rozier is in play. For me, he's on my player pool at the moment. Going up against Phoenix. Phoenix has allowed 35.4 fantasy points per minute to opposing point guards. Rubio against Charlotte, do like that as well. Rubio, a better defender than Rozier. 28.2 fantasy points per game by Charlotte. I do like Tomas Satoransky as well. I have him right now on my radar as well. Going up against Sacramento. Another, again, I'm targeting those games that I had mentioned before. Sacramento allowing 31.2 fantasy points per game. And then the other value play here is Tyus Jones, obviously with no Morant. You got to consider Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones as well going against Indy. Indy recently been given up in the last 3 games. The opposition has scored 37.8 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards over the course of those last 3 games. So he is definitely someone to consider as well. We go over to shooting guard. Shooting guard at the top. We have Donovan Mitchell at 8,500 in a matchup against Philadelphia. Don't know if I'm going to go there. Josh Richardson, I believe, is still going to be out. I think he is definitely doubtful for today. Would be an opportunity for Mitchell. I do love Mitchell when he's more at home. He's got to go into Philly. He definitely is a better shooter at home and a better fantasy point player at home. But, again, anything can happen. 8,500, I think that we can actually fade away from that game and focus on the games that are going to be a little more competitive. Booker and Levine definitely stand out to me, but I do like Zach LaVine here at 7,900. I've gone to him twice over the last 5 or 6 of his games because he's just becoming a high usage player for Chicago. He is on fire with his shooting. He's been really excelling with his 3-point shooting as well at 7,900. You pretty much need about 37, 38 fantasy points, and look at the numbers, 45 plus in two straight games and 3 out of his last 4 games, and he has been at 55 or better in 2 out of the last 4. He's playing over 34 plus minutes. 45 plus, like I said, 56 and he's taking massive shots. In these games, he had 28, 36. Look at this, 49 points from the floor. He gives you a little bit of rebounding. He can do a little bit of everything, rebounds and assists. He definitely can get you steals and some blocks, an occasional block. But the massive shots and the massive usage, his usage is up to 31, 32% on average over the course of the last 3 or 4 games. He's taking massive shots. In the last 2 games alone, he's taken 24 shots from the floor and 10 from 3. And he has actually also been doing well getting to the free throw line because he's been fairly aggressive to the basket. He's just been truly just playing great basketball. He's balling his butt off. He can get you steals and blocks. He's going up against Sacramento. They are 4th in defending shooting guards, which they've done very, very well. But they allowed in the recent last 7 games, on average, they've been allowing 31.8 fantasy points per game. Booker put up 50 against them 2 games ago, and Gary Harris put recently 45 on him, which is really a shot. Gary Harris was really on fire that day. A little vulnerable to the 3-point shot, and if Zach LaVine is going to take up 10 shots a game, and if he's going to bury at least 40 to 50% of these shots, he more than likely will take some more. So Zach LaVine definitely in line for a nice big game today for the Chicago Bulls in this close game against Sacramento. So I like LaVine. I forgot to go over here on DK. And on DK, I like Dennis Smith Jr. as well. But as shooting guard, I do like Devontae Graham there because of the price tag at 7,200. Actually, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm going to stay with LaVine there on DK as well. Zach LaVine at 7,900, definitely do like him there as well. So Zach LaVine and Dennis Smith so far on the top. for DK. Other options you have for me today, other options at shooting guard today is Devontae Graham, 7,400 on FanDuel, 7,200 on DK. He has 40-point upside. He's been averaging 35. Phoenix giving up 28.7 fantasy points per game to opposing shooting guards, but his usage, the amount of shots he takes, and then, of course, if he buries those threes, could be a great night for Devontae Graham. Other than that, Buddy Hield has been absolutely just shooting the hell out of out of the basketball the last few games. He's at 7K on FanDuel, 7,100 on DK. He's averaging 35. Chicago's allowed only 25 fantasy points per game. But for me, with Buddy Hield is more about his usage. His usage rate is at 30 plus over the last 4 games. He's taken 22 shots or better per game over the last 3 games, and he's taking 13 plus threes over the last 3 games. I mean, he's just shooting the hell out of the ball. He's shooting at a high percentage rate as well. Again, let me correct myself. He is shooting at a low percentage rate, but if he's able to bury those shots at that amount of shooting, if he's able to get that down to 45-50%, he will definitely be killing it, as far as a matchup like this tonight. So Buddy Hield could be a very sneaky play here at $7,000 on FanDuel and 7,100 on DK. So I definitely will consider them. If you're looking for value, Korkmaz, if there's no Josh Richardson, Korkmaz is definitely still in play. Not too high on him. Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen is another one for Memphis with no Clark. He did play about 25-30 minutes or something like that. So he's an option too if you want to look for some value at shooting guard. At small forward, at the top, you got Giannis at 12-2. Like I said, I'm just a little worried about this Knicks game. They're 16-point favorites. I don't normally touch games like this, to be honest with you, and that's just me. But again, he's one of the best players in the league. In 3 quarters, he could definitely put up 60. So that is the reason why you would consider him. So I would say because he's one of the top guys in the league, 6-game slate. Yeah, if you can definitely get a couple of values in your line and you can squeeze in a Giannis, why not? I'll probably put him in a quarter GPP, but he's not someone that I'm definitely looking to push into my lineups today. At the top, I do like Kelly Oubre and I do like Alec Burks a whole lot here, at least on FanDuel. But I'm going to go with Kelly Oubre at 6,800 in this matchup against Charlotte. Like I said, I'm going to be targeting this game. And Kelly Oubre at 6,800, you pretty much need about 34 to me value. And he is definitely averaging 31.5. He has put up 46, 49, 46, 46. He's done 46-4 out of his last 8 games or better. So he has 45-point upside, and taking the amount of shots and the usage that he gets. I mean, he can get you a double-double as he did here, 22 and 10. He did it here, 25 and 11. He's been putting up 20 or better 4 out of his last 6 games as far as from the floor. He's capable of getting you rebounds when he wants to rebound, and he's capable of getting you some blocks and steals. His usage rate is at 23% over the last 6 games, taking 6 or 17 shots from the floor and about 4 or 5 threes. But if he can bury those shots at a 45-50% rate, which he is capable of doing, he should be just fine. And like I said, he can get you rebound, steals, and blocks. He's going up against Charlotte. They're 24th in defending small forwards, and they've been allowing only just 20.2 fantasy points per game. But they haven't faced a high usage, a guy that takes tons of shots like this and is very explosive, especially in transition, like a Kelly Oubre. So, and especially over the last 4 or 5 games, which I usually try to base my information from. So Kelly Oubre is definitely going to be a tough matchup for Miles Bridges. Again, it could turn around and Miles Bridges could be a tough defense, tough deal for Kelly Oubre. So again, I do like Oubre here at 6,800. On DK, I like Eric Pascal. Eric Pascal, no Draymond Green today. 5,600 for him is a very nice price for Eric Pascal. He's playing 29-plus minutes over the last 5 games, 25 points or better in 7 out of the last 8. He has a 40-point upside as he's done 43 times. He should do well. He should be in a good position here. For one, Draymond Green is not playing, so it's a little bit of a slight bump for him where he's going to be able to try to get some more rebounding and get some more assists. We know Draymond is not a big scorer. This kid, at least, if he gets hot from the floor or from he gets to the foul line quite a bit, so he brings a lot of things to the table. He can rebound. He can get you a few assists. He can get you a steal. And, of course, he can score. And he's not that bad of a free throw shooter as well. At 5,600, I think that's a good play for him. He's going up against Atlanta. They're 11th in defending power forwards and allowing 29.4 fantasy points per game to small forwards because he is small forward eligible here. And power forward eligibility, Atlanta's been giving up 37.2 fantasy points per game to opposing power forwards. Where he normally does play is power forward, at least for Golden State. So you can go either or. I think he's a fine play. Other than these two guys, you got to consider Alec Burks. I think Burks, point guard and shooting guard eligible for Golden State, with no Draymond Green today, is going to have an opportunity to, he's playing pretty much small forward for Golden State because we know Bauman is going to be in play there. You can also give some consideration to Glenn Robinson. I like the Golden State Atlanta game to target a lot of mid-tier plays, a lot of guys that are 4,000 to 5,000, maybe in the high 6,000s. I think you can definitely do a nice balanced lineup. I think this is a game you can target as a game stack and definitely take out 4 or 5 players, maybe even 6 out of this game, and still have room to get in some good solid plays in your other spots. Other than that, other than these two guys, the other guy that I do think you could definitely consider here is Bruno Caboclo. Obviously, if Clark is out, which chances are he is, Bruno Caboclo is in play here. If you want to consider Kevin Knox for the Knicks, if he restarts, you can go there. But it's just, I wouldn't go there personally myself. I would rather go Bruno, who definitely has a little bit more upside than Knox as far as the time playing. And then, of course, the matchup is just more suitable for him where it's going to be a close game. So Bruno Caboclo probably be more in play for me than I would go with Knox at the small forward spot here on FanDuel. All right, so that's where we got it there at small. So now at power forward. So we'll go with a power forward. At power forward at the top, you got Domantas Sabonis. I think Sabonis is definitely someone in play. I definitely plan to have exposure to him at the moment, at least for the time being. I'll know more by the end of the day if I'm going to have a little bit more to him than anybody else. But I do think that he's someone you can consider today. Come down here, Jabari Parker, definitely at $7,000 with his upside and a good matchup here against Golden State. Definitely good competitive game. Should be on the floor at crunch time. I do think Jabari Parker, if he doesn't get into no foul problems, should definitely be in play. I do plan to have quite a bit of him, at least at the moment. I am willing to pay down just a little bit. I think that other than Jabari, I think I will have a lot of Rashad Holmes. I do like the matchup for one. He already played against this team, and he did fairly well. But at 6,400, you pretty much only need 32, 33 to meet value. He's averaging 28, and we know he has 40-point upside. That's the beauty of it. And he has played 27-plus minutes, more or less over the last 7 or 8 games. In competitive games, he has played at least 30 minutes or better, so that's what I do like. He did play against this team, like I said. If you go down here against Charlotte, he played 35 minutes, put 17, 9, 2, 3, and 2. Solid game, 42 fantasy points, pretty much more or less. So I do like the factors that he's done that well. 4 out of his last 6 games, he has at least put up 26 or better, so that's at least above his average. So he has been slightly trending upward as far as fantasy point totals. And as you can see, he's at 46, 45. So he's been at 40, 41, and 45. He's been at 40s at least 4 or 5 times this year. So he has 40-point upside. Definitely a good matchup. This is a matchup that, for him, as far as size, his speed, he's not a high usage guy. He's a guy that just gets quite a bit of rebounds, can get you some blocks and steals, as you can see. So he's very good at that. Can get you a double-double, as you guys 1, 2, 3, pretty much 3 over the last 4 or 5 games. Rashad Holmes, definitely like him. Like I said, he's shooting 68% at home. That's another reason why I like him at the moment. Sometimes you look at some of these guys that are not high usage guys, and you want to see if they're at least shooting well. And he is shooting well, especially at home, 68% compared to 54% on the road. But his home average, what I like also is his fantasy point totals are higher at home, 33 to compare to 23. So he's averaging 33 fantasy points per game at home and 23 fantasy points per game on the road. He is taking about 8 or 9 shots a game on average, and of course we're not expecting him to take a ton of shots, but we do like the factors that he can bring rebounding, and he can get you a few assists here and there, but it's more about his rebounding, steals, and blocks, and as well as he does play the transition game. So Rashad Holmes for me will be in play. A guy that definitely has even more better upside is Jabari Parker. So again, either one of these two are very viable. I would definitely go with either one of the two. Right now they're kind of like even for both of me. For me right now, both, I do feel I'm going to have a little bit of both in most of my lineups. But those are the two guys I'm looking at. When you look at in the same, I do like the same play also for power forward with Holmes over here as well. And you very easily you can go there as well. You can also go there on DK. Very easily you can go with Jabari Parker. So other than those two guys, obviously Parker's in play. I do think Eric Pascal is definitely in play. As you already know, I already penciled him in on DK for the 5,600. He's only 5,900 here on FanDuel. I think he's definitely someone to consider here as well. He has definitely 40-point upside as well, and that's what you look for, especially in tournament play. So Eric is definitely in play. Other than Eric, Dario Saric is definitely someone to consider in another competitive game here. Saric going up against Charlotte. Charlotte has been giving up 33.2 fantasy points per game. Spillman for Golden State, definitely someone to consider coming off the bench at 4,400. Only needs 22. Kaminsky is another guy if there's no Baines. Obviously, Kaminsky is someone you can consider for Phoenix. And that's pretty much what I'm looking at other than Caboclo. Like I said, Caboclo is power forward and small forward eligible on DK. So don't forget the value with Caboclo. So Caboclo is in play. All right, that's where I'm at there. Let's go over to center. At center at the top, you got Joel Embiid, you got Rudy Gobert. These guys compete against each other. They usually are pretty balanced out. Gobert is capable of getting 45-50 here. At that price tag, and him getting 45-50 will be a nice play. The same could be said for Joel Embiid at 10,009. You need about 53. And at that price tag, he can meet that value as well. These two guys could go for 50 against one another. They've done it before, looking back to last year, dating back to last season. I just don't know if I want to pay up there. I like a lot of the shooting guards and a lot of the mid plays with the Golden State Atlanta game as far as small forward and power forward. So for me personally, I'm okay with not playing either one of these two, but I will find some lines because I do multiple lineups to get a little bit of Gobert and a little bit of Joel Embiid, especially Joel Embiid that he gets to the foul line quite a bit. But I like Aaron Baines a whole lot here. It would be nice to say jump on Turner because he's in a good matchup here. No Valanciunas for Memphis. You got to consider Miles Turner. For some of you may consider that. I think he's not a bad play. Man, if he was more consistent with his minutes, they've been a little bit up and down. If he was able to score more consistently at a 35-40 fantasy point rate ratio, I will probably be a little bit more hyped up about him. But at the moment, I don't know if I'm going to have quite a bit of Miles Turner, which maybe tonight he'll go out and he'll put up 40-45 like always. But again, I do like Aaron Baines and his matchup a little bit more. The game should be more competitive. He's been playing really solid with Phoenix, and if this game stays competitive throughout the night, him at home, definitely love him. He plays a lot better at home, and not only that, he's just good overall as far as rebounding, scoring. He can definitely give you some assists. His shots, he can shoot. He's a pretty decent free throw shooter. 6,200, you need 31 from Baines. So I'm okay with him. He has had 8 straight games. Looking at his numbers, he's had 8 straight games, if you look at it closely, with almost a 60-point upside. He's got 50-point upside. He's had 6 straight games where he's at least at 26 or better, and that is really close. He could be very, very easily a viable cash play for you guys who play cash, but he has the upside for me that I would love to play him in tournaments, and I also like the matchup. It should be a competitive game. He should be on the floor at crunch time. As long as he doesn't get into foul trouble, he should be fine. So I do like him a whole lot. He's playing 25-plus minutes. He's shooting 56% from the floor, 44% from 3. For a big man, that's not bad at all. His usage rate is high for a center, 21% on this team. He's taking 9 to 10 shots from the floor, 4 or 5 from 3, and he's getting, and of course, he can get you the rebounds, as we all know, and he gets you a couple, an occasional block and occasional steal. He's going up against Charlotte. They're 27th in defending centers, and they've been allowing 35.2 fantasy points per game to opposing centers. They just gave 33 to Robin Lopez, and the 2 games prior to that, back-to-back games against Andrew Drummond, he put up 47 and 48 respectively against them. I think that he's in line here for a good 30 to 35 fantasy points. Very nice, safe play, Aaron Baines, if he plays. I do like him there. If he does not play, then I'm willing to go all the way down. I'll be willing to consider a Willie Cauley-Stein in a matchup here against Atlanta. Should be able to get 25 to 30 minutes. Should be able to get a point per minute. And even a more viable and more cheaper play will be Robin Lopez, who will probably be out of the 3 top guys, Caboclo, Dennis Smith Jr., and I would think Lopez will be the top 3 value plays of the day on this particular slate. So Robin Lopez at 3,500 would be an option as well, just simply on value. I mean, if he can get you a point per minute. If he plays 20 minutes against New York, it ends up being a blowout, and he plays only 20 to 23. That's a good chance he can get you 20 to 23, and he has the upside to get you 30, which he did in the last game in 23 minutes. He put up 33 fantasy points. So Robin Lopez would be someone in play. And over here, as far as center over here, again, it could be Baines or Lopez. It depends on what you want to save. You got 6,700 right now. If you go with Baines, he's 5,400, and you still have 7,100 to build the rest of your lineup. And if you go even Robin Lopez, you'll save a little bit more. But Robin Lopez is more of a better play on FanDuel at 3,500 than he is at 4,400 over here. So go figure. So that'll be a chance for you to do that. It'll be up to you to make that decision. But that's where I'm at. Those are the 5 there. Those are the 5 here. Smith, Levine, Oubre, Holmes, and Baines. Again, wish you guys a lot of luck tonight. Remember, Cyber Monday, man. Take advantage, man. Come down. Check out the Patreon page. Sign up for either the cyber, for any one of the things. Take advantage of the all access, man. That all package, $20 a month for everything that I have available, including the Discord chat, private chat. I think is a great deal. Definitely jump on that. And other than that, man, I wish you guys a lot of luck, and I'll see you guys for tomorrow's slate.